Hello.
What is that?
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine.
Fine. Okay, now how to share this? Stop share over. Okay. And they should be able to see this also. How to do that? So share screen.
Yes.
Then what is basic? This.
Yes.
And how to change that camera where we can see the board. Hey, can you see the shared screen landforms of the Earth wala?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. And what else? Can you see the board?
No, we cannot see the board and we cannot see you.
You can't see me. I'm here. Here, fourth camera is there, no?
No. No, only I can see the shared screen.
How to
I can see you.
see, Bart can see me, Ranveer. But I
Yes.
want.
Yes, now I can see.
But you can't see the board, na. I want you to be able to see the board. How to do that? Turn what?
One camera.
Where to go?
Those tracks. One side is I think.
No, there is 79.
You share.
No, not new share, something else. Let me see.
You can switch the camera.
How to do that, you know? Tell me.
I don't think so. Near the stop video, there would be an upper arrow. Up arrow.
Then in this.
No, stop it up in this navigation bar.
What will be there?
Drag it down.
अरे इतना धीरे बोल रहे हैं मेरे को इधर सुनाई नहीं दे रहे.
What will be the HD camera? हुआ क्या?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Parth. This will hide. This will take two. This also we can hide 20. Input of pen. Inside me, but then it will be this space. We'll see which ones. Landforms of the Earth. Who erased this? Those people came to erase or you did it? Okay. Landforms of the Earth. Which are the major landforms? Major landforms of the Earth are mountains, plateaus, plains. Plateau नहीं बोलते उसको. Here see it is plateau. Yes. So mountains, plateau. In the second image you can see plateau, and in the bottom one.
And the bottom one plain.
Plains. Okay. Geomorphic processes. This you need to draw this chart in your yes, in your notebook, the flow chart. So geomorphic process. Hey, this part of the board you can see now where I'm writing.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, I'm writing this only what is there. So just draw that in your notebooks, the flow chart. Endogenic. Exogenic. Yes. Endogenic and exogenic. Then under endogenic, you have diastrophism. And you have sudden. In diastrophism, you have Elico. Epileogene. In Epileogene, you have upward, downward. In orogenic, you have tension, compression. In sudden, you have conflict. Exogenic. Column side. Yes. Then the ground waters. वाह क्या क्या अच्छा है गुड वेरी गुड क्यों geography को क्या completed है अकेले को
I'm completed. You can stop screen share.
No, I have to take this further. You're not able to see me, no?
Okay.
Okay. I didn't hear. I said you can't see me. Can you see?
No, I cannot see.
That's what I'm screen sharing, so it's okay. But I'll explain from here. So iske liye I'll not remove that.
The camera which is on the TV is now sharing this one what we
Haan.
screen share.
Yes, yes, that's what. Erosion, ER. R. Hmm? Done? Write spellings correctly, huh? Epileogenic, orogenic, diastrophism. हो गया? So now we look at each one separately, okay? So first you have endogenic. Under endogenic, you have diastrophism and sudden. Under diastrophism, you have epileogenic and orogenic. Epileogenic are what movements? Upward, downward movements. Orogenic are tension compression. Okay, and here you have weathering and erosion. Okay, so first we look at this epileogenic. Okay, epileogenic was what movement? Upward, downward movement. So when the vertical movements, vertical means the same, upward, downward. When the vertical movements or the epileogenic movements occurring inside the earth along the radius from the earth's center to the surface takes place, it is either because of submergence or upliftment. Submergence means land submerging, going down. Upliftment is land coming up. Such movements occur because of faulting, that's known as faulting, faulting of the plates. Block mountains, rift valleys, and basins are formed as a result. You can see this. This is a block mountain. So, kya hua hai? One part has got uplifted, the other part has stayed down, that has got submerged. And this horst and graben is what the higher part of it is known as the horst. Okay, and the lower part is known as the graben. See here what has happened? Rift basin, rift valley. Okay, so this is a continental rift. Continental means land and oceanic means oceans. Okay, below the oceans. So here what has happened? So you can see these arrows. So there is drifting and there is this rift basin which has been formed. It has got submerged. Okay, here the land has got submerged and here it has got uplifted. Okay, this on the side is known as the rift shoulder. This is the horst here and this is the graben where it has got more submerged. That is a rift valley. Okay. So what is it because of? Upward, downward movement and formation of
Rift valleys and
block mountains, rift valleys and basins. Now, landforms are formed because of the following reasons. Plate tectonics. The lithosphere is broken into several small and big plates. Okay, different plates are there, like how a jigsaw puzzle is. Like that, there are different plates which float on the partially molten asthenosphere, which means what? Partially molten. Why do they float? Because there must be some kind of liquid below, right? And that is partially molten. How molten means liquid. How lava is, it's not absolutely liquid like water. It is a viscous fluid, like how Fevicol is, on those lines. Okay. So these plates are floating on the partially molten asthenosphere. Okay. These plates may collide or push each other. They are moving. Okay. So they will sometimes bang into each other. They may push each other. They may drift apart from each other. Those movements will happen. Orogenic movements. What are these? Orogenic movements are responsible for the formation of fold mountains. Here you can see this volcanic arc. When deposits of sedimentary rocks lying between two plates get compressed. Compressed means, like if I take my handkerchief, okay, say if this is that rock, okay, and if these are getting pushed, this is rock, and below that you have the plates. So these are pushing the layers of rock. They are drifting. So what is going to happen? There will be these kinds of folds that will be formed. Okay, when it's moving like this. When it's moving up and down, that time the block mountains are formed. Okay, so here, when deposits of sedimentary rock lying between the two plates get compressed. Compressed means they're getting pushed. Because of the movement of tectonic plates, it results in the folding of the rock. How the handkerchief was folding, it will be on similar line where the rocks will also get folded. Fold mountains such as the Himalayas and the Alps have been formed this way. You can see here the lithosphere. Here you can see lithosphere. This is the asthenosphere, the molten asthenosphere. So what is happening? This plate is pushing this. What is happening? This is pushing. So this part is going down. After that, what happens when this part goes more down? It's hot. So again, this also becomes molten. And then it comes out in the form of magma lava. This is the oceanic crust. Oceanic crust is lower. You can see your continental crust. This is higher. Yeah, you can see this volcano. So what is happening here? There's a trench because they are both at different levels. The crust, okay? They are both at different levels. So there's a trench. Trench means deep depression, okay? This is formed, and here you will have the volcanic arc. It's known as. So these are the volcanic. These are the fold mountains that have been formed. Okay. So write down over there in your book. First, write down certain forces. I'll tell you later. So first, you write this epileogenic. Write down epileogenic. So we'll write the important points of each. Over there, write down submergence and upliftment of land. Submergence and upliftment. Next point, write down vertical movements. Vertical samajhta hai na? This is vertical and this is horizontal. Upward. Yes. So like this. Vertical. Yes. So vertical movements. Then write down block mountains. Block mountains. Rift valleys. Yes. Same point, right? So all three examples. Rift valleys and basins. So what are epileogenic movements? Upward and downward. Upward downward movement, which causes upliftment and submergence, which leads to the formation of fold mountains. Fold mountains. Of block mountains, rift valleys, and basins. Road. So we are done with this now, Epileogene. Now write down orogenic. Here you write down tension and compression. Tension and compression. Two plates get compressed. Two plates get compressed. Fold mountains. Formation of fold mountains. No. Formation of fold mountains. Example, Himalayas, Alps. There only. Okay. So orogenic movements are what kind of movements? Tension and compression. What do they lead to? And what is happening?
Two plates get
Two
compressed.
plates are getting compressed and leads to the formation of fold mountains. Example, Himalayas and the Alps. Now, certain forces. This one here. So we did diastrophism. Huh? Now, sudden forces. Earthquake, volcano. Volcanic activities and earthquakes are defined as sudden forces because they happen all of a sudden. Sudden forces are also known as constructive forces. Okay, we'll write later. That's an important point. So we write it. Why? As they form various relief features on the surface of the earth. You can see this lake. It looks so beautiful, no? This was formed due to the earthquake in 1972. A beautiful lake formed by earthquake at around 12,000 feet in northeast region of India in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Very unique feature of this lake are the tree trunks. You can see these? Tree trunks standing in between the lake. The lake was formed as an outcome of earthquake in 1972. Okay, so you have beautiful formations, relief features that are created because of this. So they are known as constructive.
Ma'am, what are relief features?
Like mountains, lakes, and various kinds of structures that are formed basically. And these are actually, you know what, in marshy areas, you'll find a lot of these, where you have breathing roots. Because the trees, they cannot breathe below those, huh? Yes, in mangroves. So
Find lot of what you said?
What?
Find lot of what? You're not absolutely audible.
Found, these are found in marshy areas.
Okay.
Because those trees cannot breathe, no?
Okay.
The trees cannot breathe, so that's why those roots come to the surface of the water. They have pores on them. So that allows them to breathe. Okay? So this is sudden forces. Write down sudden forces. Which one is this? Huh? Okay. Write down sudden forces. Volcanoes and earthquakes. Volcanoes and earthquakes. In inverted commas, right? Constructive forces. Constructive forces. As they form various relief features Relief, RELIEF. Features on the surface of the earth. Then you write next point. Going fast.
For example,
Yes, volcanic mountains and plateaus. Volcanic mountains and plateaus. And write this also. Madhuri Lake in Arunachal Pradesh. Next point you can write. Madhuri Lake.
Only Madhuri.
No,
example,
Madhuri Lake in Arunachal Pradesh, because this is a distinct feature. So you all can add that in addition to what
Okay, okay. I thought Madhuri Dixit.
Ah, I thought Madhuri Dixit is saying. Madhuri Lake, Arunachal Pradesh, formed by earthquake in 1972. Write this point. Formed by earthquake in 1972. Got it? So कौन सा किया हम लोग ने diastrophism, where we did epileogenic. What is it? Upward downward movement. तू अभी ध्यान दे, वो रहने दे, तेरा friend कुछ भी बोलता है. Okay, so epileogenic movements lead to formation of block mountains, rift valleys and basins. Orogenic, tension and compression lead to formation of, example, sudden movements are, and what are they known as? Why are they known as? Examples created. Okay, and also we have volcanic mountains and plateaus. लिखा क्या? रणवीर, let us see them. अरे we can't escape. What will be up?
हाँ हाँ.
लिखा क्या? Have you written?
उसका ही आंसर बोल. हाँ बोला उसका ही आंसर.
Okay. Next we do exogenic forces. What are they? Exogenic forces. Now these are known as destructive forces, okay? Folding and faulting are caused by endogenic movements, these ones that we did, because they are below the crust. Movements taking place under the surface. Exogenic movements occur on the surface. So you can add over here, endogenic inside, below the surface. Okay, and here exogenic above the surface. Okay, so exogenic now. Exogenic movements occur on the surface of the earth. Rivers, glaciers, and winds. Rivers, glaciers, and winds. You find these on top of the surface. These are the exogenic forces resulting in the creation of landforms by erosional and depositional activities. Erosion is what? When you don't have crops growing in a particular area, you can see these pictures. Idhar kya hua hai? This is the Chambal Valley. Okay, over here there are many villages on villages that have got destroyed because of these things. These are called ravines. 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 R-A-V-I-N-E-S. What happens is when you don't have trees growing, or when you have less number of trees growing, there is erosion, which means the soil is not being held by the roots. The roots hold the soil. and then that gradually increases. They are known as gullies. Gullies. Huh? Huh. Gully erosion, that's known as. So gradually what happens from one, it leads to another, like how this has happened. It leads to further destruction, and this even increases, like how this has become so wide. It mustn't have been wide right from the beginning. First, it must be like a small channel, and then that has expanded more. So all this is widespread destruction due to weathering and erosion. Weathering और erosion में क्या फर्क है? Weathering and erosion, there are two things.
Erosion.
Weathering means what? Those rocks are breaking. Okay, there are three things that where weathering is concerned. Okay, three ways in which weathering happens. So basically, this is the disintegration of rocks. Weathering. What is that? Disintegration of rocks. Disintegration means what? Tootna, rocks breaking. And erosion is that being carried forward by ice, river water, sea, wind, or by underground water. Okay. So that's the difference between weathering and erosion. Weathering में वो एक ही जगह पे टूट रहा है. Erosion includes carrying forward of those pieces. Okay, and that further breaks. Okay. So this you all write down. Exogenic forces now. And this I'll explain to you physical, chemical, biology. So exogenic forces. Destructive forces as they cause widespread destruction, as they cause widespread, WIDE, widespread, it's one word. Extend it over there to that, yes.
Destructive forces as they cause
Widespread destruction of landforms, due to weathering and erosion. Okay. Rivers, glaciers, and winds are exogenic forces. Rivers, glaciers, and winds are exogenic forces. GLAC. Glaciers S add कर दे. And wind are exogenic forces. Are exogenic forces. Now, what is this physical, chemical, and biological weathering? Physical weathering, what happens? Like say if you have a rock, it's known as weathering by frost action. Say if weathering by frost action, you all don't have that, but just understand. Say you have a rock. Okay, it has some pores in it. It might have some cracks in it. So what happens is when it rains, these cracks fill up with water. What happens? And then when it becomes cold or in the winter, what happens? Ice, when it freezes, what happens? Water expands, right? So that expands. Then the next time,
on cooling it contracts.
On cooling it contracts, but on freezing it expands. Correct? So it's going ice. Ice expands, right? When it cools down, it's going to contract. So then again, now there is more water that can come here. Then more water gets filled in. Again, it expands when it turns to ice. So then again, this slowly, this rock starts breaking and disintegrating. This is disintegration by cross action. Okay, and this is a type of.
Ma'am, can you take your camera below? Because what you are writing below, it's not visible.
I know how to. Now can you see this picture?
Yes. Yes.
हाँ?
Yes.
हाँ, बस अब मैं छोड़ रही हूँ, okay, because that's all that. हाँ, अभी कुछ करूँगी तो ऊपर पर. Okay, so this is weathering by cross action. That is physical. Like that, there are different types of physical weathering. There is one more which is known as exfoliation. Exfoliation. You know, you exfoliate your. Correct? So what are you doing? When you're exfoliating your skin, you get exfoliating face mask and all that. So they say that your skin will become nice, beautiful, and all that. I don't use it, but I feel that my skin will get more spoiled. So, but then your moms might be going to parlors and getting facials done and all. They could natural beauty is better. Okay, so exfoliation, what happens? It's like layers. You'll have different layers. I can't draw it here, but you'll have different. Suppose this is the surface of the rock. Hey, can you see?
दिसतंय.
दिसतंय आता मी इरेज पण केला. तुझ्यासाठी वरती बनवते.
आता गेलं.
तुझ्यासाठी बनवते वरती. So suppose this is the surface. Okay. Now what happens is the below part. The top part gets heated more. Because it's on the surface. This portion below gets heated less. So what happens is because of this unequal expansion, contraction, this is getting heated more, this is less. So because of that unequal expansion and contraction, it leads to breaking of the rock and exfoliation of the rock, which means these top layers, they start disintegrating. They start breaking. And you will be able to see like layers, where there will be one layer where there will be a rock. The other layer, there won't be any. So that has got exfoliated. Okay. Then you have chemical. In chemical, what is happening? Chemical changes are taking place within the rock. Like for example, rocks that contain iron. Rocks that contain iron. What happens to iron when it is exposed to air? Rust. It
gets rust. When moisture.
It gets rusted when it is exposed to air and exposed to moisture. When it rusts more, what happens? Yes, it starts becoming brittle. Brittle, and then it ultimately becomes like powdery. It breaks. So there are rocks which contain iron. So these rocks are exposed to chemical weathering. Because the iron in those rocks is going to become, it is going to rust and it's going to disintegrate. So that will lead to the weakening of the rock. Okay. Biological mein kya hai? Due to humans, all life forms. Okay. Humans, animals, trees, or plants. Plants or trees. So humans, how we do construction. We do construction. We break those rocks. Correct. So that is done by humans, or mining activities. So there's biological weathering. Animals, how do they do? In a small proportion. But there are animals that dig burrows, like moles and rabbits and all. So how do they do it? They are breaking the rocks beneath and they are getting into that. So that's animals. Plants and trees, how? Their roots. They dig their roots inside and they destroy the rocks beneath. So that is biology. Okay, समझा क्या? हाँ? Okay. Now write down major landforms, mountains, plateaus, and plains. Now we come to our main. Now we start with our chapter. No? अभी chapter शुरू हो रहा है.
तो अभी इतना देर क्या किया?
इतना देर ये समझा कि क्यों हो रहा है वो, क्या हो रहा है और क्यों हो रहा है. अभी और इन डेप्थ. क्या अगरबत्ती लगा के बैठा है?
हाँ.
और बैटरी टॉर्च भी लेके बैठा है. Okay, so mountains, plateaus, plains.
ये क्या अगरबत्ती?
हाँ?
ये
एक
देखो
ही?
अब. हाँ एक ही.
तो एक कब तक चलेगा?
कीपैड में घुसा दिया. अभी ये 40 मिनट चलता है एक.
अच्छा. So draw this landforms. Draw this in your books. Mountains. What happened? Plateaus. Plains. You draw कर लो, then rest of it we will do in the next class.
इसके बाद लीव करने का.
हाँ, इसके बाद कोई लीव कर सकता है. Old mountains. Residual mountains. Block mountains. Like infold you have fold, plateaus, and mountain.
इंटरमॉन्टेन की मोंटन.
Intermontane.
इतना साल इंटरमॉन्टेन ही बोल रहा है.
और ये वर्ड को कैसे प्रोनाउंस करता है?
प्लेटो.
हाँ, गुड.
वो पता है.
गुड, यू डिडंट से प्लेट्यू. तेरा फ्रेंड प्लेट्यू बोल रहा है. हाँ? You also. Volcanic.
हेलो.
What happened?
It's nothing.
Hey, we are here only. तुमने बनाया क्या drawing? Flowchart बनाया?
बना रहा हूँ.
हाँ. Total connectivity is lost. डर गया. कहाँ गए सब? No, what? You will. अभी आज जरूरत नहीं पड़ा, बट जरूरत पड़ता तो उसका यूज करता.
हो गया.
हो गया? ओके. शो मी योर रिसोर्स
Yes.
बुक. अभी कुछ आंसर लिखो फ्रॉम द रिसोर्स बुक. Some you can do now. What diagram you want to draw? Block mountain.
No.
No.
7 minutes. 7 minutes really.
First, second. Okay. Means this one. Worksheet. First, second, third, fourth. You all can refer to the text also. Fifth, we covered all that. 2 landforms formed by exogenic forces. That is also done. All we have covered below. ये सब रहते हैं आगे के पार्ट में नहीं.
Two landforms formed. Two landforms produced by exogenic forces.
Exogenic forces. So, right?
No.
Other you want to do this review exercise में से कुछ. What are called endogenic forces? Do this. वो छोड़ दो, वो बाद में करना. Do this. I'll give you two. I'll give you two only. I'll give you. Okay. Class work second one. What? Page 58. What are called endogenic forces? And
15 important.
points of importance of landforms. Okay, do this. Third and fifth. Second and fifth. Okay, so classwork, short answer, second and fifth. Try do it now only. You have 10. It's at 8:35. So in the notebook. In the notebook. What is the first question you tell me? I'll write it.
What are called exogenic forces?
What are ये notebook में कर. Ranveer. Where is it?
हाँ.
हाँ ये notebook में ले कभी. We have 10 minutes more. So write these two answers or two questions I've given you. Write in your notebook.
First, this we have to write or those.
Huh?
The ones which you gave sometime before, we have to write those, or we have to
No,
write the
we
ones
have
which
this.
are given
I'm
now.
writing the question on the board C. What are called endogenic forces?
Okay, okay.
And the second is give two importance of landforms. And the second is give two importance of landforms. Parth, why is your video off? Ranveer, at least
Internet
speak
connection
and
issue.
हाँ
मैम इंटरनेट का प्रॉब्लम
I am here only. Why will I?
what?
I am here only. I am paying attention.
So why you put your video off?
Voice was breaking in between. That's why I switched it off.
And Parth, at least Ranveer was interacting during the class. He was talking. He was saying things. You don't talk also. How do we know if you're there or not there?
मैम पूरी क्लास का मैं आपको जो भी लिखा उन सबका फोटो भेज सकता हूँ.
ओके, लिखा है सब.
हाँ मैम.
ठीक है, तो तू अपना वीडियो तो चालू रहो. हमेशा
हाँ,
बंद करके बैठता है.
मैम इंटरनेट का प्रॉब्लम है.
कुछ भी.
मैम मैं घर पे नहीं हूँ और मेरे को मोबाइल डेटा यूज करना पड़ता है तो जल्दी खत्म हो गया.
इधर है अभी?
मैं अपने मासी के घर.
कहाँ पे? Where are you?
एकदम नया नया ढूंढ के बोल देने का रोज.
हाँ वही ना. रणवीर उधर रत्नागिरी में है, वो उसका नेटवर्क का प्रॉब्लम है, इसलिए he is sitting up on the terrace and doing it. Where does your मासी stay?
मैम लखनऊ.
हाँ तो लखनऊ is a very well developed city. उधर थोड़ी कोई दूर ये है where you will have network problems.
मैम उनके घर में वाईफाई नहीं है, मोबाइल डेटा से काम चलाना पड़ता है.
तो मोबाइल डेटा में वीडियो क्यों नहीं चालू कर रहा है? हो जाएगा.
मैम 2 घंटा 2 GB पे निकालना पड़ता है.
कुछ नहीं, डेटा उतना ही लगता है. ड्यूरिंग क्लास यू शुड कीप इट ऑन. अब मैं भी वीडियो बंद करके सिखाऊं क्या?
नहीं वीडियो बंद किया तो डेटा कम लगता है थोड़ा.
हाँ बट इतना नहीं, ठीक है. ही कैन पुट अ बेटर डेटा रिफिल, नो? करेक्ट.
Yes, better recharge.
Recharge. हाँ. So I'll also teach you what part with my video off and my audio off.
मैम
तू जब भी पढ़ रहा है तो तेरे को अच्छा लगता है ना कि तू स्क्रीन पे देखे कि क्या हो रहा है. So it's the same here also. Now you're writing these two answers, no?
यस मैम.
हाँ. घर पे कोई नहीं है क्या पीछे?
मैम व्हाट?
No one at home?
नो मैम.
अच्छा. Next level English, what should we do? चलेगा. GC or DB. Bro, school you'll have got any syllabus? No. Just see if you'll get them. You just tell me. Done? Show what you know. Question. Write the question for the question. Write it. Write the question. What are called exogenic forces due to importance of landforms? क्या बोल रहा था? मम्मी की छोटी कसम था. वो लास्ट टाइम कसम कैसे था कि बनाई थी आपने? हाँ, I was telling you नहीं छोटी कसम है. तो अभी वो रेक्टिफाई कर दी. हाँ, वो पता था. Set of forces operating inside the earth.
Ma'am, you have stopped your that screen share, na?
Yes, yes, I've stopped. Now you are able to see this over.
What?
You can
No,
see.
no.
Put that.
I just asked if like you are showing anything on the screen share and I will
No,
miss it.
no, nothing. They want maybe that. Try and see. Now you can see me. No, I'm over here.
Yes.
From there, they can't make out what is happening. I'm reading her answer. What are called endogenic forces? Set of forces along operating inside the earth act along the radius from the earth's center to the surface and are characterized by large scale uplift or submergence. You have written subsidence. Submergence, make it submergence. To give you
uplift or subsidence.
use submergence, subsidence then. Various landforms, various landforms display the internal and external forces of the earth, different climatic effects and features, forests, snow lands, giving birth to rivers, so. Fourthly. Good. Okay, what you wrote? What are called endogenic forces?
Not able to find.
Two forces. No, she wrote namely orogenic and epileogenic together. You're writing a 5-mark answer. Looks like. You wrote?
They didn't find it.
Huh?
They didn't find the first.
From where you go?
No. Below uplift and submergence.
From the resource book. Okay, Bella's gone. We'll meet for English next. Huh? Okay. Bye, Part. Bye, Ranveer.
Bye, ma'am.
Next time video चालू ही रखना अपना. Bye, Ranveer. ये muted ही है अभी तो.
हाँ मैम जा रहा हूँ वो सब पैक करके.